You have to hold out to see how your life unfolds, because it is most likely beyond what you can imagine. It is not a question of if you will survive this, but what beautiful things await you when you do. Do not become the ones who hurt you. Stay tender with your power. Never fight to injure, fight to uplift. Fight because you know that in this life, you deserve safety, joy, and freedom. Fight because it is your life. Little girls don't stay little forever, Kyle Stevens said. They turn into strong women who return to destroy your world. When society questions a victim's reluctance to report, I will be here to remind you that you ask us to sacrifice our sanity to fight outdated structures that were designed to keep us down. We don't fight for our own happy endings. We fight to say you can't. We fight for accountability. We fight to establish precedent. We fight because we pray we'll be the last ones to feel this kind of pain. I am a victim. I have no qualms with this word, only with the idea that it is all that I am. I didn't know that being a victim was synonymous with not being believed. From grief, confidence has grown, remembering what I have endured. From anger, stemmed purpose. To tuck them away would mean to neglect the most valuable tools this experience has given me. I was reminded that having extra needs does not make you too difficult, too time-consuming, but worthy of compassion and love. What was unique about this crime was that the perpetrator could suggest the victim experienced pleasure and people wouldn't bat an eye. There's no such thing as a good stabbing or bad stabbing, consensual murder or non-consensual murder. Victims are often, automatically, accused of lying. But when a perpetrator is exposed of lying, the stigma doesn't stick. Why is it that we're wary of victims making false accusations, but rarely consider how many men have blatantly lied about, downplayed, or manipulated others to cover their own actions? The judge had given Brock something that would never be extended to me: empathy. My pain was never more valuable than his potential. Allow that you are at this moment not in the wrong place in your life. Consider the possibility that there have been no errors in the game. Just consider it. Consider that there is not an error, and everything that's come down on your plate is the way it is, and here we are. I didn't know that money could make the cell doors swing open. I didn't know that if a woman was drunk when the violence occurred, she wouldn't be taken seriously. I didn't know that if he was drunk when the violence occurred, people would offer him sympathy. I didn't know that my loss of memory would become his opportunity. I didn't know that being a victim was synonymous with not being believed. In fact, I need you to know it was all true. The friendly guy who helps you move and assists senior citizens in the pool is the same guy who assaulted me. One person can be capable of both. Society often fails to wrap its head around the fact that these truths often coexist, they are not mutually exclusive. Bad qualities can hide inside a good person. That's the terrifying part. Pain, when examined closely, became clarity. He believed he could break us, but from this day forward, I would begin to build. They seemed angry that I'd made myself vulnerable, more than the fact that he'd acted on my vulnerability. I used to shrink at harsh tones, used to be afraid. Until I learned it takes nothing to be hostile. Nothing. It is easy to be the one yelling, chucking words that burn like coals, neon red, meant to harm. I have learned I am water. The coals sizzle, extinguishing when they reach me. I see how those fiery coals are just black stones, sinking to the bottom. And finally, to girls everywhere, I am with you. On nights when you feel alone, I am with you. When people doubt you or dismiss you, I am with you. I fought every day for you. So never stop fighting, I believe you. Most people say developing is linear, but for survivors it is cyclic. People grow up, victims grow around, we strengthen around the place that hurt, become older and fuller, but the vulnerable core is never gone. You are allowed to be cautious, but you don't always have to be afraid. For so long I believed I needed permission to return to my life, waiting for validation. I promised myself I would never question whether I deserved better. The answer would always be yes and yes and yes. But it bothered me that having a boyfriend and being assaulted should be related, as if I, alone, was not enough. It should have been enough to say, I did not want a stranger touching my body. No matter how awful and long your journey, I can promise you the turn. One day it will lift. Most of us understand that your future is not promised to you. It is constructed day by day, through the choices you make. Your future is earned, little by little, through hard work and action. If you don't act accordingly, that dream dissolves. Privilege accompanies the light-skinned, helped maintain his belief that consequences did not apply to him. In this system, who is untouchable, who is disposable, whose lives are we intent on preserving, who goes unaccounted for, who is the true disruptor, the one firing, the one fingering, who created a problem where there never was one. I am not a burden. I am not limited, I am ever expanding. Your suffering means something. You are worth more than 3 months. They could never truly have rejected me since they had never fully known me. You are worth more than 3 months. The assault was never all of me. But living is an incredible thing, just to have been here, to have felt, if only briefly, the volume and depth of others' empathy. I wrote, most of all, to tell you I have seen how good the world can be. She said to the women, leave your pain here and go out and do your magnificent things. I didn't know instructions like this were possible. History is where you will find people who have been through what you're experiencing. Not only been there but survived it. Not only survived it but changed it. Whose struggles informed them. History shows you what people have endured before you. Chanel Elizabeth Miller, born June 12, 1992, in Palo Alto, California, the elder of 2 daughters of a Chinese mother and an American father. Her mother emigrated from China to become a writer and her father is a retired therapist. Miller graduated from Gunn High School in 2010. She attended the University of California, Santa Barbara's College of Creative Studies, from which she graduated with a degree in literature in 2014. Chanel Miller is an American writer and artist based in San Francisco, California and New York City. She was known anonymously after she was sexually assaulted on the campus of Stanford University in 2015 by Brock Allen Turner. The following year, her victim impact statement at his sentencing hearing went viral after it was published online by BuzzFeed, being read 11 million times within 4 days. Miller was referred to as Emily Doe in court documents and media reports until September 2019, when she relinquished her anonymity and released her memoir Know My Name, a memoir. The book won the 2019 National Book Critics Circle Award for Autobiographies and was named in several national book lists of the year. She is credited with sparking national discussion in the United States about the treatment of sexual assault cases and victims by college campuses and court systems. She is also a public speaker.